hello, I am Slavic man, and you might be surprised to know that the most influential philosopher in my life so far has been Marcus Aurelius. Aurelius. You get the point. Let's talk about this. My name is Ivan Ivanovich Ivanov, but we are friends, so you can call me Vanya. As I said, I am a Slavic man, and because of this you might think that when I was child, my babushka read me Dostoevsky as bedtime story. You are correct. Who needs Little Red Riding Hood when you have big red Soviet flag, am I right? This is how many Slavic people grow up, and it explains why we have resting Slav face. We always look like we received worse news of our life, because every morning we wake up, look around and we go, "Блядь, I'm still alive." Okay. What a blessing, let's do this. And we go into life, head first. This is where Marcus Aurelius comes in. He taught me that when we received bad news, we have two options. Either cry like a baby suslik American, or face it head on like Slavic man. I choose option number 2. Pew pew. Yeah, that was so gay. Anyways, I choose to have this mentality not because I am better than you, even though I probably am, especially if we have street fight. Not the point. It's because I learned from great thinkers, think like to think with brain. I learned from great thinkers and philosophers to become emotionally indestructible. And today we will talk about the most influential man that led me to developing this Slavic mentality. Surprisingly, it is not Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, it is Marcus Aurelius. Did I get better in pronunciation? Aurelius. It's Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, блять, okay? Dostoevsky says suffering is unavoidable. Marcus Aurelius agrees with this, but here is where his message is unique. He adds that suffering is always self-inflicted. Basically, Dostoevsky punches you in the face and says you must endure. But Marcus Aurelius says when you are punched and feel pain, you must remove the judgment of the pain and the pain itself will fade. Here is a quote of Marcus Aurelius. Remove the thought, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is removed. Now this might sound like Slavic Yoda hu Yoda, Jedi mind trick. Kill me! No! But it is very simple, and in this video I will explain this mentality to you, but first we must understand a little bit about the life of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is Roman emperor and most widely known today as a philosopher, even though at one time he was the most powerful man in the world, literally. He was born in 121 AD, so a long time ago, becomes the emperor of Rome, which is at the time the most powerful position a man can have, but with power comes great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
And a lot of huйня, bullshit. For him especially, because he ruled during a time of war, Marcomannic War, something like this. Anyways, big war, and he had to lead his nation through it. As if that wasn't enough, there was also plague. If you ever heard of Antonine Plague, it's very bad, especially at the time. They didn't have vaccination or modern medicine, so they were basically
The epidemic is real.
So Marcus Aurelius always had a lot of bullshit to deal with. How did he mentally survive this? He was pussy. He wrote in his diary. And this private diary of his is now what we know as the Meditations, which is the foundation essentially of Stoic philosophy. Imagine this, most powerful man in the world, yet he still kept a journal like little pussy American boy. However, in the case of Marcus Aurelius, his pussy journal led to the most influential philosophical work ever produced by mankind. So I will give him pass. And remember, he wrote his meditations privately. He never intended for them to be published. He was emperor. He was already famous. If anything, he didn't want the fame. He did not want his emperor friends knowing he writes in diary like little girl. If he knew that his private meditations would eventually become the most famous philosophical writings in the history of mankind, he would be very embarrassed. And I understand, this is embarrassing. Imagine your diary is published for the world to read. Dear diary, today I decided to try No Nut November. Then you die and everybody knows about your No Nut November failure. That's right, I see what you're doing on Reddit.
No! God, please, no!
However, Marcus Aurelius is better than you. So instead of trying No Nut November, he is telling himself very important things that we can all apply to our lives. And this is important. He did not really write this book to inspire anyone except for himself. Every day he writes in journal, Marcus Aurelius, don't be suslik. You are emperor, but don't be suslik. Don't be suslik. This man regularly examined his own thought and actions to make sure that they aligned with his morals, with virtue, with good and reason. This I respect very much. Marcus Aurelius said, your soul is dyed by the colors of your thoughts. So what you think every day will eventually turn into your actions. So you must always make sure that you are examining your thoughts and your inner monologue. And he realized that fame is an illusion. He said, quote, the only lasting fame is oblivion. So he understands that chasing fame is pointless and only leads to anxiety and dependence on others and prevents inner peace. This is very powerful for such a man to not really care about his own legacy and focus on how he is living his life presently. He said, how many after being celebrated by fame have been given up to oblivion, and how many who have celebrated the fame of others have long been dead. Basically, what's the point of being famous? You will die and everybody who remembers you will also die and everybody will die, so live life now. Stop chasing this useless fame, this performance for others, and focus on being a good man today. This is quite powerful and tells you about his mentality. Okay, that was a long prelogue, but I wanted to kind of explain the mind of Marcus Aurelius and why I actually care about his writing so much. Anybody can write self-help book huyuk, you know, any suslik. What kind of man are you, okay? And the actions of Marcus Aurelius prove the quality of his character. That's why his work has so much weight, because he didn't just write lessons in a journal. His life was an example of the application of his lessons. Now that we know more about Marcus Aurelius, let's talk about his meditations and what I learned from them. First and most important lesson: only you control your mind, and therefore only you control your reality. One of Marcus Aurelius's most common meditations in his book was that it is not what happens to you in life that matters, but only how you react to it. You have no control over many external things like the weather, the stock market, politics, huyolitics, other people's opinions. So why waste time worrying about them? Marcus Aurelius says, who is not the cause of their own unrest? He means the only thing that controls our reality is our attitude towards the events that happen in our life, which we can control. It's not the events themselves. Good things will happen and bad things will happen. You have to stay centered and focused. This is a quote from Shakespeare, but I think it complements this idea very well. Nothing is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. Look, I think the message is self-explanatory, okay? Nothing ruined your day. You ruined your day. Getting flat tire did not ruin your day. You reacting to getting the flat tire is what ruined your day. You get it? Nothing external that happens to you should be able to disturb your peace, except your parents when they give you belt. Yes, this is scary. You should be scared of this. But even then, it is probably your fault. Why would you not wear tapochki inside the house, debil? Okay, moving on. Lesson number 2. You must learn to accept nature. Like burp, very natural, don't worry. Now this is a very broad statement. What do I mean by this? Marcus Aurelius, like many Slavic people, was obsessed with death, but not in a sad way, in more of a clarifying way. Here is another good quote from him. There is a river of creation, and time is a violent stream. As soon as something comes into sight, it is swept away. Wow. What he means by this is everything you love is temporary. Everything you fear is temporary. Everything good is temporary. You are temporary. And that is the way of nature. Here is another quote. One should pass through this tiny fragment of time in tune with nature and leave it gladly, as an olive falls when ripe, thankful to the tree which bore it. Aurelius is helping us accept death as a part of nature and removing our fear of it. Look, you are not scared of breathing. You are not scared of falling asleep. You are not scared of having sexy time, am I right? Very nice. Great success. Unless you are incel loser, which is your own problem. What do these things have in common? Just like death, they are all a part of nature. Creation and destruction. It's all one cycle. And it is not to be feared. It is to be enjoyed and experienced, because we only get one ride. Until I have a couple of shots of vodka, then you get many more rides. Okay, no, I'm a married man, I cannot say this. That was directed towards my wife. So yes, Marcus Aurelius taught me not to be scared of death. You are here, you had some vodka, you had some pilmeni, you enjoyed, now you go. Not big deal. You were not scared of not existing billions of years before you were born, so why would you be scared of not existing after your death? Simple, yes? Moving on. Lesson number 3. To have reason and to act for the common good. I understand I sound a little bit like Yoda, you know, very vague, like what the what does this mean? Have reason you must. Have reason you must. Act for the common good of the republic you will. Заткнись, бля, Yoda. I will explain, okay? Let me explain. Good is very broad and can mean many things. To me, it is vodka with pickle zakuska. To Marcus Aurelius, it was the very essence of human nature. And this is what he means by reason. To him, reason and good are intertwined. You know, they're doing the lesbian scissoring sex. Sorry. I believe he thought that the only thing God gave humans to distinguish us from the rest of the animals was reason, okay? This thing we call consciousness. That's what we have that differentiates us or makes us a little smarter than our animal counterparts. I'm not saying we're not animals. Marcus Aurelius made very clear that we are, at our very essence, just animals. We have our body, we have our mind, and we have our soul. Every animal has a body. This we share with animals, obviously. The mind is part of the body. This we also share with animals. Although many different kinds of animals and also people have different size brains, you know, you have normal people and you have debils, and then you have like, I don't know, dolphins and elephants, and then like, what's this animal that looks very stupid but cute? This guy, look at him. He is animal like me, body, mind, but what is going through his mind? Nothing. Hello? Okay. You may go. Thank you for proving my point. The mind is also shared with criminals, horrible, godless peoples that act against human nature. So this leaves us with the soul, which is the defining characteristics of humans, but most importantly, good humans. A good soul is the only thing that makes you a good person. And so Marcus Aurelius believed that the only mission in life is to guard your soul. And you can do that by living in accordance with nature. As a human being with a soul, your nature should not be your mere impulses. Your nature should be in accordance with morality, with good, with reason. Yes, because we share our impulses with all animals. We all hunger, we fear, we desire.
I gotta eat. I gotta hunt. I gotta...
But what makes you unique as a human being is that you have the ability to feel this impulse, to pause, to choose whether or not you should pursue this according to your own morality. This is what makes you human. So what separates humans from animals is not that we feel less, is that we can think more. We are able to question our impulses, to restrain them, and we can refuse to act on an impulse when it goes against our nature. This is why it is important to have good, virtuous values, and this is what Marcus Aurelius means by reason. To act according to nature and to reason. To be good. Because you are a human and you are capable of good, so it is your duty to be good. This is very similar, I think, to Immanuel Kant's philosophy. Maybe we will do this next video. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write this down. So, summary, we are humans, we have a soul, we have free will, and using it to act against our impulses, especially when it is hard, is what makes us human. And doing this in a good way that helps people and makes the world a better place. That is how you protect your soul. Okay, this was very long, but I hope you liked it, because you can't just explain these things quickly, you know, they are deep and important, so I will do my best to explain them. Next lesson, lesson number 4, is quick and easy. It's a lesson you see when you're scrolling your shorts, huyorts, or you see a self-help book. It's bullshit. It's cliche, but it's cliche because it is true and important. Basically, it's just live in the present. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. So you must focus on now, because that is all you truly possess in this life. I feel like this turtle master from Kung Fu Panda.
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
Oh my god, I'm becoming Yoda Turtle, okay. Okay, well, those are the lessons I learned from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, and you must be wondering, how does Stoicism help you become a strong Slavic man? Well, you see, comrades, the Stoic and the Slavic are one and the same. Dostoevsky says, you will suffer, just accept it. Stoicism says, you will suffer, but your reaction is optional. Now, there are way more similarities between those statements than there are differences, but I think the difference is Dostoevsky builds emotional tolerance, while Stoicism builds emotional control. Both create a very strong mind and are valid philosophies, but I prefer control to just sheer tolerance. You know, it's like snowplow, you must get through it, versus being a little smarter and going around it. Why do you have to go through? Sometimes it's better to go around. It's easier for everybody. Causes less chaos. And guys, I hope you watch this video to the end, because I think that Stoicism is especially important in today's society, where everyone is suslik, you know, overstimulated, emotional, and offended. Marcus Aurelius would hate Twitter, or X, he would hate what Elon Zuckerberg did to our minds as a society, okay? He would say, why are you upset about opinion of stranger with funny cat profile picture? You don't know this guy, forget it and focus on your life. Here is another great quote by Marcus Aurelius. It is ridiculous not to escape your own vices, which is possible, and try to escape the vices of others, which is impossible. Very nice. Okay, so, children, gather around. What did we learn today? Well, like any good Slavic person will tell you, suffering in life is unavoidable. Life is short and full of pain. However, drama is optional. You hear that, ladies? I'm looking at you. If you have a vagina, this message applies to you. I don't want to be sexist, but it's true, okay? If you don't like it, unsubscribe. I don't give a Now I will tell you the most important part of this whole video. We learned a lot, all these principles from Marcus Aurelius. Now, how do you apply them to your life? Well, luckily, Marcus Aurelius, at the end of his meditations, tells us the best way to apply his principles. So I will just read you what he said. The model for the application of these principles is that of the boxer and not the gladiator. The gladiator puts down and takes up his sword, but the boxer always has his hands ready and needs only to clench them into fists. The point is, you must always keep these principles in your mind through repetition. This is why Marcus Aurelius journaled. Every day he wrote down the same things. What are my morals? What are my values? This is what is important to me. So when a situation happens in your life where you have to make a critical decision, you are ready like a boxer to apply the principles and be a man. Be a man. Do the right thing. It's Russell Peters' joke. So be a boxer who yoxer, you know? Bob and weave. When problem happens, boom, boom, boom. KO. I win. Davai. So my suggestion is read the meditations, write down the teachings that you find are important to you and apply mostly to your life, and repeat them regularly in any way you can. Maybe it's a journal, maybe you highlight them and read them as much as you can, whatever. Just repetition, 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 petition, repetition. So when the time comes and you are tempted by animal impulse, you can act like a good Slavic man, as nature intended. So I leave you with this message. You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can control your reaction. Keeping this in mind while maintaining your best Slavic stare, no matter how horrible the situation. That, my friends, is true freedom, and why Slavic people always look like they receive bad news. If you like this helped you, and you want to see more, leave a comment, tell me what philosopher you want to see next. I have membership now. You can become member of my channel to have extra content. It's not OnlyFans, okay? Relax. It's gonna be like extra reels, shorts, videos that I might not have published. I think it's worth it. I will try to give you guys perks that are worth your money. It's like $5 or something. It's not a lot. So please become a member. But most importantly, interact with the video, leave a comment and subscribe. I read most of the comments and I reply to a lot of them as well. So the point is, if you want more Slavic therapy and philosophy explained by a Slavic man who clearly needs therapy but chooses vodka instead, subscribe for more. Хорошо, бля. Where's my pickle? It's over there. I will go get it after the video. As always, the most important thing is don't be debil.